Hello again, welcome back to the UnlovedJDM channel. Now if you remember the little 350Z that I bought in Scotland last year, there's a little bit of an update on it if I'm honest. Let me recap you where we left off and where we got to. So if you know how this drill goes, you'll notice we're in the truck because we're off to buy another car. Safely made it to Scotland, got here, done the deal. We actually got it out. It was not as easy as I first thought. A little bit tricky, a lot of hidden bolts, and because we haven't done it before, it was a little bit tedious, if I'm honest. It took a few hours and a swollen finger. The news is quite frankly terrible. Now, this is the cradle that goes around the sump, which, if that's like it is, you know, that's obviously it's got a hole there, and a hole on this side as well. That's one thing, that's quite easily replaceable. This is the little baffle plate that sits above it. That's obviously all broken up there. Basically the cradle that holds the crankshaft, there's a big piece missing, literally missing from there. There's another one there. You won't see it on camera, but the crankshaft itself, aside from being covered in all these little pieces, is actually way out of shape. Like, I mean way out of shape. It was all grenaded from the back side of the engine. Looks like badly serviced and oil starvation because it's literally backside of it. So that one is relatively intact, but the area around it, there's a hole. If I can get my finger in it, literally in the block just there. So that's no good. That one is completely decimated, and I don't actually have the actual piston from it. I think it's in a million pieces because this is the rod from that cylinder, and if you get it at a certain angle, you can tell it's not straight, and that's not very usable either. So that's obviously pieces of piston. It's actually completely ruined the head on this cylinder. That used to be a spark plug right there. I've kind of sold it. I've took a deposit on it. There's a gentleman buying it, and in a very short space of time it's going to be going. So this is the exact same engine that came out of it. Well, not strictly the exact same one because this is in one piece. So we're going to show you how we're doing it. And when I say we, it's not going to be me that you see on camera doing it. So James, as you've seen in the other videos, James is taking over this and he's the one that's holding the camera, not me. So he's going to be taking over, stripping this engine down, and then we're going to work together to start building it back up and making it right and future-proof. Alright, so what's going to happen here is I'm going to explain what James found as an issue to anybody else that's coming to do the timing on one of these. I don't recommend doing this in the car, I think I've said this before. So when you come to take the timing cover off, you've got all the obvious bolts around there. And what you don't have that's obvious is two more that are hidden way deep in the sump, somewhere up there. And with a bit of luck, the camera's focused on it and you can see.
There we go.
There she goes. There she goes.
There she goes.
She's off home now. Look at them big pistons in there.
Ta-da!
Ta-da-da-da.
Oh, sorry.
Ta-da. There we go.
Progress so far, starting with wiring loom, and then this mess all over the table.
It's like the most organised explosion I've ever seen.
Yeah, man.
What we're going to do is we're going to start with all the piston rings. So, we've got a full set of rings hopefully for it. Now, the reason we're doing these, as I think I've said before, is because this engine is pretty famous for oil burning, and it's two things it comes down to. One is the actual piston rings, and two is the valve stem seals, which we're going to do both while we're at this point, because it just makes sense. So he's actually got this whole thing assembled now. As I said, we didn't get to film it because the camera wasn't with us yesterday, but this got assembled yesterday. It's got new piston rings in it. All the valve stem seals have been done, and that took you a little while, didn't it? But it's worth it. It's worth it.
Full day.
But all those have been done now. There's plenty of them. And new head gasket, it's all back together, and it's basically waiting on us for the next headache solved. So, the issue that we've had is the crankshaft that was in this engine was slightly worn. So I sent this off to an engineering shop, what, 3 weeks ago, something like that. And for whatever reason, it took a long time to get processed and get to a point where we can do anything with it. Long story short, the bearings that we can get for it will not be oversized enough to the point where we could use them on that crank. So the crank itself I can't actually make use of. Which brings me to today and the 306 miles that I've just done to collect this, which is another crankshaft for the engine with 0.25 oversized bearings with it. So we're not going to waste time. We're going to jump straight into it, get the crank installed, hopefully, and then maybe tomorrow put it in there.
In the car?
Yeah. Maybe. But let's do some assembly.
All being well, if it goes well today, yeah.
Let's just do that and we'll just keep going. Right, let's open that. So there we have it. So hopefully this, with its new bearings, James, you want to open those two cardboard sleeves? Hopefully we can get those back in it, late in the engine, and get it together. Right, so things have advanced a little bit. We're actually fully built now. A little bit of a jump from the last clip and in. I'd like to say it's been easy, but I'd be lying. It's taken a lot to get this far, and neither of us have ever done one of these before, so it's all a bit of a learning curve. But, more to the point, we are actually there. And we're now going to turn the key and see what it sounds like if it starts. Let's do it. No pressure. It ran.
I don't know what just shot out at me.
What do you mean?
It squirted at me.
Was it cool then?
Yeah, go on, I think we're alright. Hang on.
Alright. Fire and all again.
Go on.
Long story short, it's now built, it's now back together. So we are at this day and the car is actually already sold, and today is the day that somebody's coming to collect it. So I just want to finish this video with an entire sort of collection of how it turned out, how it goes, and what it looks like. So there we have it, all finished and ready for a runner, which is coming today. And I'm sure you'll see this car on the channel again because it's not going too far, but it's not staying with us, I'm afraid. So it's on to a new adventure. This is, if you saw any more content on it, it's a really clean 66,000 original miles. The only issues with it, the engine situation that came with it, but now it's fully rebuilt, it's ready to go, it's MOT'd, and its new owner's pretty excited to get it. So there you go. Like I said, you will see it again, but for now, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed, and I'll see you again for the next build.